Hey guys, and welcome to Pixel Cherry Ninja's channel. An exciting video today. Do you remember previously, like a few weeks back, we had a look at the STV core for the MiSTer FPGA. If you're unfamiliar with the STV is, it's an arcade system based on the Sega Saturn hardware. If you're a regular on the channel, you know I absolutely love the Sega Saturn. It's one of my favorite systems. I'm also a big lover of arcade games. So when you get an arcade system that's based on the Sega Saturn hardware, naturally I'm gonna love it. And I have been loving it, even though there's only a few games that are working. And the reason for that is there's different hardware. There are different chips in the arcade or the STV hardware than there are in the Saturn. So all of those need to be implemented before we can get more games working. But I want to send a special thanks out to the MiSTer community because the MiSTer community is an awesome community. So first and foremost, let's give a shout out to SRG320, the main developer behind the Sega Saturn core. So any other work that gets done is based on his core. I'll leave a link to his Patreon in the description of the video if you want to support his work. He is awesome. He's brought us much fun on the MiSTer FPGA, including Sega Saturn core, and now we're getting into the realm of STV. I nearly said STD. I don't know why that's rolling off my tongue. You shouldn't really have an STD rolling off your tongue. If you do, seek help from a medical professional. But also a shout out to Electron Ash for all the work that he does for the community, and it was his work first on SRG 320's core that kind of got this project highlighted. As well as that, there's Zach. Zach put together a whole bunch of MRAs, and just his contributions to the community are awesome. Also, as well as that, there are other members, awesome members that really helped me out. So I popped onto the Discord, I had a bit of time, and I was like, guys, where's the latest build for this? Within 30 seconds, Kuba J hooked me up with a link saying, here you go, that's the latest build, here are the MRAs, you can get this working. So there's a lot of people that help out with my channel. So as well as Cooper J, I had Jesus Fish, Zet Sensei, and Mario. All of their input was invaluable in me bringing you this video. So what are we looking at here? We're looking at a game called Groove on Fire. It's something I've played on the Sega Saturn, but here we are seeing the arcade version in all its glory. It's a fighter, it's weird, it's cool. I don't know how to play it, I don't know what I'm doing, but yes, I absolutely love checking it out. Now, I had fun with this core. I had fun testing stuff out that didn't work. I know it sounds weird, but I really love these FPGA journeys that I do. We see a core get released, we see stuff run slow, we see artifacts out of place. There's a lot of stuff out there that doesn't quite work, and then slowly we see it forming. This happened with the N64 core. I was there from the beginning and I was there at the end. I've not been around for MiSTer on the MiSTer scene for too long. At least I consider myself a newbie. I've been here for like a couple of years, but you know, the N64 journey was an amazing journey. I wasn't there for the PlayStation journey, I've been there for the Saturn journey, and guys, it's amazing. I'm going to be keeping up with the progress of this because I love Saturn, I love arcade, and there's only a few games that I got working, and that's mainly down to Zet Sensei naming 3 games that he said work. So the first one, Groove on Fire, a fantastic fighting game. Definitely check it out. Play it on the Saturn, play it on the STV core. Let's move on to the next game, and I'll go into my random talk during the next game. Winners don't use drugs. Honestly, if that's your case, then you may need to change your drug dealer. I'm only joking, don't do drugs, they are bad for you. So this game here is a game called Shinryu. Now this is a shmup, it's a fantastic shmup, and guys, the screen I was recording this or playing this on, I can't rotate it. I haven't got it fixed like that, so I could do Tantei mode, but what I could do was I could rotate my Saturn controller, and that's exactly what I did. I was holding my 8-bit though M30 controller sideways, and that's why I was able to play this game to somewhat of I wouldn't even say decent, but maybe an acceptable standard for this video. But it's amazing to see this stuff. Honestly, I can't wait to see this core progress. Just having like all the Sega Saturn games and having like the arcade style games as that. Now there might be some differences with the soundtrack, don't quote me on that. I'm just going here with, if the Sega Saturn has CDs and this has cartridges, then there may be a difference in the sound quality. Feel free to educate me down below as you do. One thing that I did notice, the Sega Saturn games are like the size of a CD. So, you know, you might have something up to like 700 megabytes or whatever the limit is. You might have some games that are a few hundred megabytes. Guys, these games are tiny. Some of them are like 6 megabytes, 10 megabytes, 20 megabytes, 30 megabytes. So if you've got this on and you haven't got that much space on your micro SD card, some of the games, when this core develops, you may be more inclined to have these on there rather than the Saturn version. The main thing is, it's the choices that we have. I always say it, guys, the MiSTer is the king, and honestly 2025 just keeps proving that. The developer that's working on this is also working on a 3DO core, like a 3DO core in their spare time. We've got the Atari Jaguar coming. Some of these cores were highlighted as cores coming to potentially future FPGAs, and we're not at future FPGAs. We are getting more cores, more consoles, just more games for us to play on the existing MiSTer, and that's why I'll keep saying it, guys. I'll drum it. MiSTer is king, and this is darn proof, man. It's amazing. Definitely play this game, but maybe rotate your TV around when you play it, not the controller like me. But let's have a look at a final game that works, and then we'll kind of talk about some other stuff. The game we are looking at now, and the game that you can play right now if you want to venture out and dare yourself to get the STV core working. This game here is known as Princess Clara. The Japanese name of this game is Purikura. And what's really interesting is, guys, I feel like I've played this game before. I don't think I've played it in the arcade. I think I tried it out on emulation, and likely the Sega Saturn core. Guys, it's fantastic. You really, I mean, there's a few games that are working, like the ones that I've shown you here. There may be some more games that are working. I managed to get into title screen for a few games, which we'll have a look at after. But for the whole part, there's only a few games working. So you might want to hold off until you venture out and start playing this. The way these have been set up as well. So usually with the Sega Saturn, you have the core, and then you go to load game, or load ISO, or load CD, and then you get a list of your games and you pick the games within the core. This has been set up like arcade games. So you have the Sega Saturn core in the arcade cores folder. In the arcade folder, you have a corresponding MRA file. You're loading the MRA file, which then loads the game. So each game is kind of set up like an independent core. I have no issues with that, because that definitely feels more like the arcade, especially where the MiSTer is concerned. But this is a fun game. It's like Cypress Hill said, cock the hammer, it's time for action. And I'm pretty sure they had this game in mind. If this game came out after Cypress Hill said that, then maybe this game was based after they heard that Cypress Hill song. I can't remember what the song was called, but the lyric go, cock the hammer, it's time for action. Hopefully I won't get a copyright strike for that. Anyway, let's move on to some other stuff that wasn't quite working and where we got to with that. You may ask yourself, why are we here? Well, I wanted to show you guys my wallpaper as well that Ranny Snice put together for me. It's available via Update Tool if you've got the Ranny Snice wallpaper script enabled. As you saw, the way I selected the game, I went into arcade. I've got a folder there called STV. If you do make that folder, make sure you put an underscore before it, because then it will become visible. But here you go, guys. This is Die Hard. This is where I got to it. I left it standing there in case something happened, but this was Die Hard. That's not currently loading, and that's what you're going to get with some of the games. You're going to get different black screens, different colored screens, and different kind of errors. So I want to kind of end the video with this, and here I am. I'm about to load, as you can see, Virtua Fighter Remix, and there's a reason for that. Virtua Fighter 5 Revo is out. I can't play Virtua Fighter, but I bought it, and after I do this video, edit it and upload it, I will be playing that online and probably getting battered. But I wanted to show you this. Here I am trying to load Virtua Fighter Remix, and what you do is you'll get the kind of screen, you get happy thinking it's going to work, and then you're going to be presented by a black screen like that. It's not going to go any further. So then what I'm going to do is I am going to try and load another game, because hey, there's only a certain amount of time I can stare at a black screen. And as you saw there, I tried to go into like loading a game, and nothing came up. I had to get into core, and all these you're seeing are set up as independent cores as mentioned earlier. So here I am loading Batman Forever. It doesn't work, but again, it was just kind of interesting because seeing like the service menu and stuff. So can't like thank the MiSTer community enough, whether it's the developers or just members of the community that contribute and help. So big shout out again to SRG320, Electron Ash, Zach, any other developers that have contributed, and as well as that, members of the community that are always helpful, whether it's Kuba J, Jesus Fish, Zet Sensei, or Mario, or anyone else. Guys, I'm going to leave you with that. You can see the percentage numbers going up. I don't know why. I always find this kind of stuff fascinating, but that's it. Be super awesome to one another. This is Pixel Cherry Ninja out.